What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? And welcome to another episode of Tuffy Talk. I can't see myself here. Can you see us?
You're good. I see us. We're good.
Okay. I don't know what I'm seeing. I'm just seeing the background, so I'll take your word for it.
You're good.
I don't know. Whatever. All right. Hey, we're off to an auspicious start. Doesn't matter though, because we're going to Omaha.
Yeah, I know.
What's going on, Michael? How we doing, buddy?
Great. That was a crazy weekend.
Crazy
I
weekend.
mean,
We will definitely get into it.
yeah. I mean, like two completely opposite games,
Mm-hmm.
and then one just really great game all around.
Yeah, for sure. Look at me. I got a new hat.
Oh, look at that.
Look, 2024 College World Series hat already. Fresh off the
Getting a lot
press.
of hats this year.
No, I've been collecting them over the last. We got like an ACC, got some ACC ones. We got some Final Four ones, and I think I need to start a whole wall down here in the fan cave of all the
Yeah.
event hats that I've picked up over the last academic year. This is well, let's just start. We got a college football game.
Yeah, that's the big.
What else we got? We have a women's Final Four. What else did we do? Oh, a men's Final Four. Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah.
And then what's this last one? Oh, a College World Series. One of 3 programs in the history of college athletics to ever do that.
I'm surprised it's even been done before and been done twice.
Yeah, I believe it was Texas and Louisville. I believe were the other 2 schools. I think Texas was like in the early 2000s, and then Louisville in 2013, and then now NC State has added their names to the record books, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, it's just been a crazy
fun
year.
Ride. Fun ride.
Yeah.
It's not over.
No, I know.
All right. Well, let's. I mean, there's other news in NC State sports, but I think this is the headline for sure.
I know.
What a wild weekend. Obviously, the Pac does advance to the College World Series, taking 2 games to 1 down in Athens over the weekend. Just kind of, Michael, give me your first thoughts on it, and then we'll probably take it game by game and break it down, and then just maybe do a soft preview of the College World Series.
Yeah. No, I mean that first game, you really couldn't ask for a better start. It's definitely tough after a game like that. I mean, State's been pretty good this year, kind of, just sticking with it. But it just felt like there had to be some regression in that next game. Maybe not 11-2, but yeah.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it in our preview last week. We needed Sam to go out and set the tone, right? And he gave you 6 innings, and that's what you wanted. You wanted to use your bullpen as little as possible, kind of set yourself up for the long weekend, and that's what Sam did. He went out and pitched 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run, which was earned, struck out 2 and walked 3, which that's fine. But he threw 111 pitches and, like you said, got us through that 6th, and then because of the lead, you didn't really have to go in and pull your big arms, if you will, and you went in and got Andrew Schaffner. And to me, that was a little bit of a surprise move, even though not really, honestly, to be honest, with the score being 18-1. He hadn't got a lot of innings this year, but he looked good.
He's been good though. It's not like it's not like they were really throwing somebody out there who really hadn't pitched at all. I mean, I think he's been pretty good recently, even if he doesn't throw a lot of innings. But going back to Sam, it's like he's just so good about just controlling the game, right? I mean, you said 2 strikeouts, 3 walks. Like that's not
didn't overpower
alone. Yeah, it's like that's not that impressive, but limited them to 4 hits, and he's just I'm glad he gets to pitch again in Omaha because I mean he was electric last time.
Yeah, for sure. Here's the crazy thing. Schaff got a save in that game, in an 18-1 ball game. He gets a save. Which is wild because the rule is, you have to have the tying run on deck or on at bat, on deck, or in the hole usually,
Mm-hmm.
or throw 3 innings, and that's what he did.
Yeah, which doesn't matter the score if you get 3
Correct.
innings.
Correct.
That counts as a save.
Yeah, so most people are like, how did Schaff get a save at 18-1? And especially when that game was never close.
He did. He saved it from being 18-2.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 18-3. I think it did end up being 18-2. I think
no, it was 18-1.
But, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get some of these comments here in a minute. Let's just kind of talk about that second inning. That second inning is got to be one of the wildest innings I have witnessed, definitely in person. First off, like, Georgia couldn't field their positions to save their life, and we just kept bunting on them at crucial moments, and they just, man, between Maddie Havner and Luke Nixon, those were some beautiful bunts. And when I saw us bunting early in the game, I'm like, this is not going to win this ball game, trying to do this. But then it just didn't matter. They just blew up. It just went on a rampage. Kind of give me your thoughts on that second inning.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that it was, and like you said, it was all, you were just making them play the field. It wasn't, I think there was maybe a walk or two, but mostly it was just putting the ball in play. Not like that Oregon meltdown the other night too. They had a crazy inning. I think they walked like 5 or 6 guys in a row.
20 years.
But
hold on, sorry.
For us, it was just putting the ball in play.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to bring up because I really want to talk about this play-by-play of the second inning, because it was insane. So Butter started it with a single, and then Sosa singled. And by the way, that hit, man, he crushed it to right field, and this just didn't get a good bounce, and was only get to a single. And then you had Nixon reaching on the bunt. Butters had scored on that, and then Havner reached on another bunt, and then Souls doubled, and then Serrano homered. So at this point, it's 6-0. Then Pennington singled to shallow left. Amac singled to center. Cozart grounded into fielder's choice. So there's your first out right there. After 1, 2, 3, 4,
and you
5,
still score
6,
a run
7,
on it.
8, 9. Yeah. The first 9 guys reached, and then Buttersworth singled again. So that's his second time up in the inning. And then you got Sosa striking out. And then you got another Nixon double, and then Havner flied out, and then double to left. And then, the fielder's choice. Oh, that's right. The fielder's choice. My bad. That was an error. So that wasn't an out. That was where the guy didn't step on second.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then you had Serrano flying out to center to make it 11-0. So they had 11 runs on 11 hits and then 1 error in 1 inning. Just a spectacular inning. And that was all she wrote there at that point.
Yeah, I mean, like, at that point, when you just have to just get the game over with, then play good defense. Don't even let them back in at all. I think Souls had 5 RBIs just in that second inning.
Yeah.
Doubles,
Yeah.
RBIs.
Yeah. Souls was one of the, definitely my players of the game for there. It's like a first game, excuse me. So, we ended up with 18 runs on 20 hits, no errors, and then they had 1 run on 4 hits, 2 errors. Just to give up 4 hits in a college ball game is an impressive thing to do. I mean, complete domination.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's the offense this year is crazy. With Georgia averaging 10 runs a game, so to hold them to 4 hits, man,
in that ballpark. And I guess
ballpark,
so let's just pause here, and then we'll get into these other games. That was like playing, I guess, to steal Alex Gee's reference, it was like hitting a little league ballpark. That from IPS, that was just
380 to center field, right?
Yeah, 380 to center field. Yeah, bro, we were tailgating. We pulled up to the parking lot on Saturday, and there was like a big patch of open like parking spots, which was essentially would have been left field. And I was like, oh, let's just park here. Like, this is a great spot. And then they had batting practice, and a ball went about 30 feet from my car. And I'm like, I'm not going to park here.
That's why it was wide open and no one was parked there.
That's exactly why it was wide open. So we moved the car. I didn't have baseball insurance on my rental. So, yeah, that was pretty funny. And so, yeah, that ball just kind of flew out of that ballpark, and kind of like if you would have told me that we were going to out homer Georgia, so that number ended up being 10-6.
Yeah.
I would yeah, we're going to win this series. And especially with one of those 6 home runs was only hit by Condon. And that
ended up not meaning anything.
That mean anything. And at the Doak, that's maybe a double off the wall.
Right.
Because it's like 315, I think 315 or 314 down the right field line. So that would have been just whatever. So you have to give Georgia credit. They built their roster knowing that, they could hit home runs out of that ballpark. And I think they ended up
almost got them to Omaha.
Almost got them to Omaha. I think they had like 65 or 70% of their home runs were hitting that ballpark. So you definitely, you definitely wanted to get that home field advantage for like a super regionals, and like to your point, they almost did it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was like that Condon home run too. It ended up not meaning anything, but it was just like your chest tightened up a little bit there, because it's like, okay, he finally got one, and it's the bottom of the 9th. It's like just get a couple more outs, but it was like, oh,
yep, for sure. Yeah, that I think what did he end up going? I think it was 1 for 9, 1 for 7, 2 for 11. Okay,
2 for 11, 2 walks. I think you got hit by 1 pitch and 2 strikeouts. So like
2 strikeouts,
pretty much nothing.
Yeah, basically nothing. And that's what you wanted to do as an NC State pitching staff, was to limit his damage. And I thought they did a great job challenging him when they needed to. I only think they really pitched around him once. It felt like every other time it felt like they went after him. And give credit to the pitchers for going out and making those pitches. And we'll talk about one of those here when we get to game 3. But let's bounce back to game 2. And yeah, that was ugly. That was, you go out, you score 18 runs, and you're thinking, okay, man, keep the bats hot. They got to stay hot. And you went out, and here's the other thing too. Game 1, the wind was not blowing out at all. It was not even blowing. Game 2, blowing straight out.
Yeah,
I mean, just straight out. I was like, and I looked at Dom's mom before the game, and I was like, oh crap, the wind's blowing out. And she goes, it's always blowing out when Dom pitches.
Yeah.
So, I didn't think Dom pitched horribly. He just threw fastballs, and they were just all over his fastball.
Yeah. It just wasn't, he's a bad matchup. He's a bad matchup against a team like that and a park like that, especially if his fastball isn't going to be sharp like it normally is.
He
probably a couple too many over the middle of the plate. But
he just didn't kind of locate his pitches. And when we talk about here, like I said, when we do our soft preview of Omaha, we'll probably talk about that park, because I think it's going to be favorable for State. But yeah, they just came out, and you had Condon in that, one of his hits that he ended up getting a single, and then kind of setting the table for Alford to, by the way, Slate Alford. That's kind of a cool name. Hitting that home run. That just kind of, that was basically it right there. The game was over in the first inning when they scored 2 runs.
I mean, it almost felt like that, but we came back in the bottom half of that inning and got, I believe it was that bottom of the second. You got first and second with nobody out, and then Cozart runs into the double play. Yeah,
that wasn't the best read. Coach Hart definitely didn't send him, and that was definitely a missed opportunity. You would have had first and second,
right? Even if he just even if he just stays, doesn't tag up, like, I get it. You're trying to get to third with 1 out, because then you can score on a play. But worst case, you have first and second with 1 out, so that's still something you can work with there. Instead, you had 2 outs, guy on first, and that killed any momentum really, because I think if we score there and even if it's just one run, that makes it 2-1, and then you're kind of back in a little bit at least. So,
yeah, it just didn't work out. The one thing I kind of want to touch upon here is just the job that Marone did in this game. His numbers aren't going to probably look the greatest, but he gave you enough to where you didn't have to keep going to other guys. And so to me, he did his job.
Right.
He threw 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 of those, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. So again, just did what he had to do. And then you brought in Fanning and Kelly again, just some arms that could, not touch the golden arms, if you will, of the bullpen. And you just get out of there and get back to the hotel and regroup. I went out to dinner with some of the guys on Sunday night, and they were from that dinner. I could tell they were good. No one was down. Everyone was laughing and having a good time at dinner. And I was like, okay, we're good. Like we're good.
Especially you can kind of brush that game off a lot easier when you won the first one 18-1. So it's like, okay, it's one thing if like that in 2021 you go into Arkansas and you lose the first game 21-2. I think that one was. So that's a little tougher, but obviously they still pulled that one out too. But I can definitely see the mental aspect of it's like, okay, we had our day on Saturday and theirs today. Let's, we got one more.
Yeah, and in that game, I mean, we had 9 hits. It wasn't like, we just couldn't put anything across. We just didn't take advantage. And we'll talk. We'll get into the chat here in a minute, and then we'll kind of talk about the other guys because you know what? Let's get into the chat a little bit here, and we'll scroll through, and then we'll talk about some pitching, and then in Game 3. So let's kind of start up here, and then if you see anything, Michael, just go ahead and throw it out there. But let's see here. Yeah, we talked about the third school over to do the feat that we just pulled off. Michelle's talking about how she was back in Omaha. We would love to have had that. We could have all crashed at your house because these rooms are ridiculous in Omaha. Reed is like, Kentucky is in big trouble, all capitals. That's going to be a good matchup. I think both of these teams match up pretty well. And he also said we played a lot of long ball last night. Yeah, we talked about that, and we'll get into it in the Game 3 breakdown. Pitcher's Park for sure. Justin Cook's up. I know he was out there welcoming the team back. They had a good old night last night, having a celebration. They well deserved it, and it was awesome.
They get a quick turnaround though, right? I think I was reading they fly out tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? I figured it would be tomorrow or Thursday at the latest.
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Whew. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, a 6-hour drive back.
Yeah.
To they had to take a bus. Apparently, from what I understand, you had to be over 400 miles in order to fly, and I think they were like at 390, 398. So they had to bus down to Athens. And you're like, but hey, that's a fun bus ride when you got that hard.
When you win,
Raleigh.
Yeah. But I think they got they have a media day on Thursday, so they have to get there Wednesday.
That makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And then Razor was saying Marone was key to saving the bullpen with his performance on Sunday. Absolutely. Derek, who is kind of like a cousin to me. He's like a cousin of a cousin on the other side. So he lives down in Georgia, and so he and I went to the ball games on Saturday and Sunday. So it was a great time hanging out with some fam. But yeah, he's absolutely right. We saved the arms there. And then Aiden Ledford, arguably the reason we won this series is having Duden and D-Rock available for Game 3 was crucial. Yep, and we'll talk about that here in a second. And just everybody just having a good time here in the chat. I love it.
Yeah. What would have been right? It's like a blowout in Game 2 is like, obviously you want to win Game 2 and just get it over with, but in that case, it's better. That's probably better than a close game where maybe you have to throw Dudan and Smith, and you lose, and then they can't pitch on Game 3.
Yeah, that's a great
So
call, right? So it was almost better to get blown out. That was this, like you were saying, the silver lining instead of taking a close loss and you're burning, a
yeah,
Marone or Coop, and then dude,
right.
has to throw, 2 or 3 innings, and then D-Rock has to. I mean, you saw D-Rock last night go 3 innings, which I thought was
Yeah.
right on the cusp. I mean,
His
you could tell
most.
he was starting to lose a little gump in his
Yeah,
fastball, but
that was the longest. I think before that, his 33 pitches was his max, and he went close to
I think
40. Did he go over 40?
I think he went over 40 if
Yeah,
I'm being honest. Let me
yeah,
just see. Let me just pull it up here. I got the total pitches count here. Um, let's see. D-Rock threw 46 pitches,
yeah.
24 for strikes. So yeah, he that's a career high. But anyway, I do like this question here in the chat. The MVP of the weekend.
Yeah.
Who a lot of people are saying Serrano. Who are you thinking?
Oh, I'd say Serrano for sure.
Yeah.
And in our preview, I did say he was going to be our key player.
Yeah.
So
You did.
feel
Yeah,
pretty good predicting that one.
Yeah, I think second team MVP in a weird way, I'd kind of give it to Souls. He had some great catches out in the outfield, some
Yep.
timely hits. Yeah, I think this was a team that really came together. Everyone really played their part in this series, whether, it was Havner, getting some crucial bunts. He had a nice double last night. You had, the home runs. We already talked about the 10 home runs. You had multiple home runs from Cozart, and you had Pennington and Amac having crucial home runs last night. It was truly a team effort. Everyone came together for the cause, and just really made it happen. So, but let's jump over to Game 3 real quick. This is a game. This is a little bit different live stream tonight. We're not going to have all the fancy tweets of the week, and we're just kind of basically going to do a baseball recap tonight, I think. And we're not going to do the grind my gears. But if I had to do a grind my gears, I thought that this was supposed to be a quote unquote neutral field. And like they had all the lights for when Georgia, like they have those, LED lights like they have at the Doak. And when they were hitting home runs, they were flashing and everything. But when we hit a home run, it didn't flash. But they played some Georgia type theme things in the game. And, I was like, I thought this was supposed to be neutral, guys.
Well, I think, I don't know if you were about to say it, but I think the worst part was the pitch clock. I mean, there was definitely a difference between when Georgia was pitching and when State was pitching.
So you were able to see the pitch clock on TV and everything?
No, but you could just tell the Georgia pitchers were just taking forever.
Yeah, so we were as fans noticing that, and so I'm kind of glad that you said something. So this is what happened, and this is a good point. When our guys would catch it, they would walk back, graze the rubber, and the clock would already be going. The Georgia guy would basically do the same thing, and there was anywhere from a 2 to 4 second delay. Now, I don't think it got to the point where it would have maybe affected. I don't know the technicalities and the rules of when you have to be set and all of that. I know Alex got, struck out last week. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. And I think you're supposed to be quote unquote set in the box at 10, but I'm not sure when the pitcher has to. I'm not all sure about that, but you're 100% right. It was not the same pitch clock for State.
It was most noticeable in the first game because that pitcher, when he came set, he would just sit there and for a good 3 to 4 seconds before doing anything.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that. We didn't notice it until Game 2.
I noticed it Game 1.
yeah. I guess I didn't really notice it because we were kicking their tail, and so it didn't really matter.
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's jump into Game 3. And you had Logan Whitaker take the mound. It was great, right? Wasn't he? I mean, only 4 1/3, but it felt like more.
4 1/3.
Yeah. 7 strikeouts. He only gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs. Threw 84 pitches, but 50 of them were strikes. And I thought he did a great job of pounding the zone. and mixing things up, keeping other than the home run to what was it, Trey Phelps? I think that was the guy's name.
It was literally like that. That was his only bad pitch of the whole night. He just left that curveball hanging, and he just crushed it. But
he crushed it. I mean, the dead center. But again, he only hit it like 385 feet. So, no, that one was actually hit pretty well. But yeah, you're right. That was the only pitch that he messed up. I thought he did a nice job. By the way, let's give kudos to the defense. I think we had. I don't think we had an error. I think we had one error. I think we had one error in game 1. Let me just check that real quick.
It was very good. There definitely wasn't anything that was like, I mean, because we've had recent years where it's just like, okay, you're costing runs here with your defense.
Yeah, no errors the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And we talked about that in the preview, right? With Brett, you can't go. You can't go kicking the ball around the yard. You can't be putting guys on with free passes. I thought we did a good job limiting the walks too. Let's see. So we had 3 walks in game 1. Not horrible. We had, let's see, game 2 we had 3 walks.
Yeah.
And then game 4 we had more walks. We had 5 walks last night, so kind of
I think
not as well as you would have liked.
Derek Smith had 2, I think, in the 9th, right?
In the 9th, yeah, 2 in the 9th, and
that was once he got up past that 30 pitch mark, you could tell he was starting to lose a little bit.
And maybe you can help me on this, because I thought it sure felt like the umpires definitely shrunk the zone a little bit. I thought there were some pitches there that looked like they could have been strikes, especially on like the second or third batter, because he had a couple of 2-strike counts, and he just couldn't put them away for whatever reason.
Yeah, I didn't think. I don't remember anything sticking out on when Smith was pitching,
celebrating.
But
yeah,
maybe that was just like, okay, whatever. But no, against Logan, when there were some of his at-bats, they were squeezing him a little bit. But
yeah, we didn't have the best vantage point from where we sat at.
Where were you guys?
But it definitely. So we were a little high because they have a 100 and 200 section, even though the 100 section is not very big. But I was within the first 4 rows of the 200 section, and we were pretty even with the pitcher's mound where we sat. So not bad. And shout out to the Frittons for getting us tickets this weekend. We definitely appreciate you. They were very kind. But so some of those pitches we couldn't. It just looked like they were better. But all right. So digging into this game, I think the bats came alive. Right, 15 hits. That's what we were talking. Hanging out with some of the players' parents, and and it is no secret. It's like you want to strike and strike often. And I thought we did, they got on the board first with the Phelps home run that we mentioned, but every time that they scored, we had an answer right back the next inning.
Yep.
Like
Pennington,
that was
the 2-run homer. Yeah. Right after their 2-run homer, it was like, okay, we're good.
Yep. We're good. And they would scratch one and we'd scratch one right back. And then, we ended up getting the 2 in the 8th, and then they got the 1 in the 9th, like you said, on the home run that, shouldn't have been a home run in any other park, but
literally any other park. That's
any other park. There was a lot. Like I said, that would have been a double at the Doak,
right? And
it may not even have been a double because maybe Souls plays a little.
Maybe there's room to catch it. Yeah.
But I thought we did a great job. I thought we did a really good job on the defensive side. We had guys positioned perfectly on a lot. You had AMAC making a couple of plays from the shortstop position. I thought, he did with the shift. Yeah. I thought he did a wonderful job. Freaking Butterworth and Havner. Again, we didn't have any errors. These guys were making plays all weekend long, and they were solid.
And that catch by Serrano in center field, I mean, game's probably over if he doesn't get that. I mean, I think it was 8-5, right? Yeah, 8-5. They had first and second, nobody out. So those 2-run score for sure. The guy, the batter's probably at least on second, maybe on third with no outs. And yeah, game's probably over at that point. So that was a huge catch.
Huge. Yeah, for sure. It was funny. I don't know if you noticed that was the number 1 play on SportsCenter's top 10 last night. That catch.
I did not, but I'm not surprised.
So little inside information here. So the boys are at the bar last night, and I was out there, and they were celebrating, and they had this big screen. I mean, it was like a projection screen, and I think Souls had the number 4 play of the night. I think either 4 or 5, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly. It was a long night, but so they're going crazy, like yeah, your Souls, because he was there, and then the number 1 is Serrano's, and I mean it just erupts. I mean there's like half the team was there, if not more. And I mean, heck, even the bullpen catchers were there. Some of the support staff guys were there. I mean, they were just losing their minds and having a good time. And then all the Georgia fans started in with their "Have a nice night" chants, and I'll keep it friendly. And so
at the bar, at the stadium,
at the bar. Yeah, it was cool. There was some fun ribbing. The Georgia guys were, giving, or not Georgia guys, but the Georgia people at the bar were giving our guys some crap, and then all the boys would take their hats and show them the champ hats, and it was funny. And then the Bulldogs did that. Who's that coming down the track? So they did that. And then all the boys were like, Wolf Pack. Yeah. It was good. Everyone had a good time. No one got out of hand, and everyone played nice with each other. So I kind of felt like, okay, maybe I need to hang around in case some stuff goes down. But everyone was on their best behavior. But anyway,
Athens definitely seems like a great college town. I haven't been, but.
Yeah, it definitely was a good college town, good college vibe, lots of good eats. Even though we ate at Longhorn, I ate at Longhorn like 3 straight days because, you get that mojo. You can't screw up with the routine. And so the one night I didn't go to Longhorn, that was the game we lost the next day. So I was like, okay, we're going back to Longhorn. And then just to make sure that it stuck, I went to Longhorn for lunch yesterday and got a burger. So make sure I got my double Longhorn experience. Yeah, it was right next door to the hotel. I could just walk over there. But yeah, good time, good environment. I thought the crowds were great at Foley Field. Again, it makes me, again, if we're gonna do what grinds my gears is the NC State or ACC baseball atmosphere is just not like the same as SEC baseball. It's different. It's different.
Gotta add some outfield seating there. I feel like that's always
like I don't even think you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish.
Like I feel like it just adds. It just looks like it's like if there's people in the outfield, that means okay, the rest of the field must be packed.
Yeah, I mean, so they only had about 4,000 people from the numbers that I was looking at. It was just under 4,000, and so it is a little bit bigger than Doak, but it just seemed louder. It's only like 1,500 more people.
Yeah,
but it just felt louder. They had all the hand things, and then like they had there was one song that gets their crowd going, and they just had things. You know what I mean? They had things like in Texas A&M. They have the bubbles. There's just these SEC traditions that we in the ACC don't really have, unless you count the Binga Bus song by Clemson, which I don't think that's getting anyone too excited, but apparently it gets them going. But I would love to see NC State kind of incorporate something like that. We need to come up with our own thing. I think that's just one of those things that, other than like at basketball, right, when they do the 4-minute thing with the that's a thing. Like I like that, but I don't think we have that in other sports.
Yeah. I mean, you've got football.
I mean, you kind of have a wagon wheel, which I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's not like very. It's great. Like it's good. Everything, the whole stadium singing it, but it's not like a unique kind of thing. But
yeah. I'll get a couple comments here in here. Georgia fans seem more tolerable than South Carolina fans. Yes, they were. Other than when they were losing last night, it got a little sideways. Won't really get into it, but I thought they were very hospitable. Even losing, had some fans come up to me and just, once they realized that we were playing Kentucky, they were like, "Yeah, go beat Kentucky," because
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
that SEC, rivalry thing. But yeah,
Right.
for the most part, the fans were great.
Yeah. I was flying back from Asheville. So I missed the middle of the game, like I think I had to turn it off like bottom of the third and then turn it back on in the seventh. And so I missed the Dudan when he came in and struck out Condon. And I saw the highlight of that. I was like, wow, they brought him in, bases loaded, nobody out, and he struck him out.
Yeah, let's talk
Cool.
about that for a minute. I thought that was a move
Yeah.
I would thought, in fact, I actually have the game up right now, and Duden just actually struck the Condon out here a few minutes ago, and so I have it on. It's the bottom of the seventh.
Yeah.
I've watched. This is like the third, fourth time I've watched the game. It's just,
Yeah.
it's awesome just to have been there. It was so cool. But yeah, I thought that was a great. It was a move that needed to be made, but I thought I would have liked to have seen it at the beginning of the inning instead of like putting, that's a jam. You bring Duden in with the bases loaded and you got Condon coming up. You're like, okay, this is the moment. This is the
Yeah.
moment. Either we're going to win
Yeah.
this game or we're going to have an uphill battle and we may not win this game.
What was the score at that point? 4-2?
4-2, I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I believe
so
that's what
yeah,
it was.
he hits a grand slam there. It makes it 6-4.
Yeah.
And you only got 9 outs left. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, I don't know about this. Especially, I mean, bases loaded, because then you're like, okay, do you walk them? Because that's only one run.
Yeah.
Not that I think they would do that, but it's like it's certainly a strategy.
Yeah.
And I've seen it in the major league. I mean, you've seen Barry Bonds get walked with the bases loaded. I mean, yeah, that is a thing. All right, so I think that was the 6th inning they brought him in, or the 5th inning. Yeah, there it is. It was 4-2, and then you got the strikeout, and then Alfred grounded out to end the inning, and that was just like. And if there was ever a moment you heard the State fans on TV, that was the moment.
Right.
We lost. I mean, we were like, yes, and then we're all looking up at Jacob's dad, Mike, and everyone's like pointing at his dad, like, "You're the man up there." And his dad's like, "Okay, I'm not pitching, but I'll take it," And I thought that was a great moment too. Every time one of the kids did something, and you had Eli's home run, everyone's pointing down at
their parent,
Sammy, Dad Sammy, and Mom Michelle, and they're like, "Yeah." Oh, Cheryl, Cheryl. Michelle is Cozart's mom. Cheryl and Sammy like, "Yeah, you," and then and another guy would step up, like like Buttersworth would have a hit, and everyone's looking at his mom Donna and be like, "Yeah, Donna," and then. Yeah, it was just fun. Like everyone's patting each other on the back, and then Sosa hits the home run, and everyone's going to the Sosa family. It was
he launched that one too.
Oh yeah, did you see the comments? Like he hit a frat boy, like from like yeah, that was a moonshot. That was a moonshot, and I had him as one of my X factors, and when he
gets a hold of one like that, his swing looks so
it's
pretty.
so sweet. It's a pretty swing. Is a pretty swing. But yeah, I it truly, the way that these families pull for each other, not only on the field but in the stands, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And me, from just a fan standpoint, oh yeah, and then like when the whole weekend when Garrett was going off, and everyone was like, anyway, I have probably 40 stories of those anytime. But yeah, it was just fun as a fan to see this, and just to see it through the eyes of the players and the parents, and it's so much like, if anyone has an opportunity to go on these types of trips, and especially when you're talking the smaller sports like women's basketball or baseball, where there's not a ton of fans, you obviously get more fans for like the men's Final Four. It's really cool just hanging out with other state fans.
Yeah, it's, I mean, Final Four. That was
right?
Something. Like, it's, I've been to countless state games, home and on the road, and obviously, I mean, it makes sense. The Final Four, it's going to be different, but yeah, I mean, you can just tell that it's the atmosphere is different. I'm sure it's the same way with baseball. I think I've been to a regional. Maybe I went to 2018 regional, but I've never been to a super regional or Omaha. So
yeah, I think yeah, super. I and I've told this story, and I don't, and I'm not ashamed of it. Like, I really didn't get locked in for baseball until 2021. I would watch it from afar, but I had never been to an NC State baseball game until we went to the College World Series, and then just kind of the some of the Pac-9 families just kind of embracing my craziness and letting me hang out with them, and I was like, okay, now I'm locked in. Now I'm going to go to those games down in Raleigh, and it's the baseball life is a different thing. You have these, so you have the football, and football doesn't really travel much. It's not like AAU. These baseball families hang out, and they're together all day outside, so they'll have some drinks and some food, and they're just hanging out. Basketball is kind of an indoor thing. Baseball is just a different vibe, and so it's so much more fun just hanging out and just watching baseball. I mean, it's the best. But kind of jump in some of these the chat again. We'll get back into a little bit more of this. With me and Michael here tonight. We'll bounce back a little bit. But let's see. James did Logan leave due to injury, or was he pulled? No, he was just pulled. He was good. It was just the time, the circumstances. It was in a do or die game, there really is no room for error, and you're going to want to tend to err on the side of caution, especially last night when you had basically all your good arms available. You had Coop, you had Duden, you had Smith. You had the ability to break that game up, parse it up, chunk it up, however you want to say it, and there was no need to push the envelope with a guy.
Right.
If it's a Sunday afternoon in May. Yeah, maybe, or excuse me, April. Maybe you let them work through it a little bit, but not an elimination game. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously that could have gone really bad bringing in Duden against Condon, but
give credit to Coach Avon. Like he pulled that. He's like, I'm making this move. I trust my freshman, a freshman,
and I think that's the crazy part too. But he's obviously got.
Yeah, he's special.
He's probably one of your top pitchers.
Yeah,
top two pitchers. But I think it's also easier to make the move and be wrong about it than it is to stay with a guy too long and also be wrong about it. Like, at least you're trying something different, right? Because at that point, what inning was that again? The
sixth.
Yeah.
Nope. No, I lied. Fifth, bottom five. Keep forgetting we were the away team.
Yeah. So at that point, Logan's been through the lineup a couple times, so they've seen him, and
that's a good point.
I think it's a lot easier to say, okay, we're gonna make a change here, and ride with that, and ride with one of your best guys, your best bullpen guy, probably, than it is to be like, we just left him in one batter too long.
Yeah, and it was almost you were almost getting those fields with D-Rock too in the ninth, and I think he was. If he hadn't got the second out when he got out, I think you might have seen Cooper at that, because he was starting. He was starting to struggle a little bit.
It was first and second, right? When he got the second out.
Yeah.
I think if the bases come loaded there, with one out, they probably make a change as well.
Actually, you had a fly out, homer, walk. No, you only had a guy at first, but it felt like there was more than that.
It did feel like that.
Well, I think because it felt that way because he got a lot of deep counts, like 3-2. Like I felt like he ran in like 3-2 on like a couple of those guys. That was the actually here I can even look at it. Yeah, like he had the guy that walked. He had strike one, 3 balls, then a strike, and then a walk, and then a ball. So he walked Alford. But then this guy, he got to a 3-2 count on Goldstein, and he ended up popping out. And then he got the one pitch on Phelps, which that was the big one, right? So that was really the big moment here. If Goldstein walks,
right,
you now you have the tying run coming to the plate, and Phelps, who's already hit a couple of home runs.
No, the winning run, because Condon hit the home run. So we're only.
No, it was
Phelps
8-5. You're right. No, that'd have been tied. That'd have been tied. Condon was 8-5, and then Alford walked, so that's 1. Goldstein would have been 2, and Phelps would have been 3. That would have been the tie game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You'd have the tie and run come to the plate, and then
with
you would have
out.
felt with 1 out, right?
Yeah.
And so you probably go to Coop at that time because it feels like, all right, D-Rock's running out of steam, and I thought, give credit to D-Rock. He made the pitches when he absolutely needed to make the pitches.
Yeah.
He looked a little more human. And you say he looks human, but he only gives up the 1 run, right? And he pitches.
Which again, shouldn't have been a home run in any other ball.
Yeah, we keep going to that point. And, you think, okay, like he looks somewhat human. I mean, but that's a good hitting team. Like, that's the one thing we haven't talked about. They were top 10 nationally in just about every dang category.
Yeah. Well, I think it was more that he was missing the strike zone more so than that they were hitting him, because he really I mean, he's got single digit walks on the season, probably.
Yeah, maybe I'd have to go back and look at the stats.
I think it's
but all right, so let me jump back in here a little bit. Schaff was warming up and throwing. Yeah, exactly, Reed. And I thought that was a good job. They were going to try to get out because Schaff had that nice inning on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were doing everything they could do to reserve Coop in case that thing went extras. Because at that point, our pitching was far more superior. You looked at what Georgia did. Right. They only ran out like 4 or 5 guys the whole weekend.
They brought their Friday starter back, right?
Yeah, the guy that gave up all the runs or most of the runs in that second inning on Saturday, and I thought he pitched better, but we still hit him. We still hit him around the yard pretty well. But they brought back the Sunday guy, the little guy that pitched a decent amount. I think the only guy you didn't see twice was Marsh. I think everyone else, other than the starters, even that one starter, Smith came back twice. So they just didn't have the arms that we had.
Right.
And so you thought the more that this thing went through, State had the advantage, as long as we could hit. And that was the thing. It's like, all right, our pitchers are better. And that old adage is pitching beats good pitching beats good offense. It rang true this weekend, even in a hitter's park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, if that game goes to extras, you just throw Consiglio out there and you get at least 5 innings out of him, and feel good about good 5 innings too, not like you're stretching him at that point. So it's like when if you had to make a change, it definitely would have been in State's favor.
Yeah, I agree. It as more as this game went on, I thought, man, okay, if we could just get the bats going. And it wasn't even so much about getting the bats going. It's just like pushing a run across. Like it feels, kind of the State's Achilles heel for a lot of the season. It's just men left on base. It's like, come on, guys. Like just we had a couple instances, on we had Eli on second with no outs in the first.
Yeah, first inning. Yeah, he got a double and then nothing.
Yeah, then I think was it Butters in the second inning that had a double, or was it Nixon? No, Havner. It was Havner had the double to start the wall. Yeah, left field wall. Yep. So we had leadoff doubles in the first 2 innings and couldn't push a run across, and you're like, and so then you start getting those feelings, right? You get those feelings like, oh gosh, are we gonna have one of those nights where we're gonna hit the ball, we're gonna have 15 hits and 3 runs? And it didn't work out that way. Thankfully, they got it going
just in time.
Yeah, I think that was the other thing too is you didn't have guys trying to do too much for State, right? And going back to what Brett said is don't be a hero, go be a soldier.
Right.
Just go out and do your part, and whether that's moving the guy along to the next base, or it's taking a couple extra pitches to get a pitch count up. Go out and make the most simple plays. I didn't think any one person on State tried to do too much. They didn't press. And I felt when we started getting that lead, like, okay, now you're going to see Georgia starting to press a little bit. They're going to try to overswing and try to get that big bop, because that's what they do.
Yeah. Which I think that definitely happened with Condon in that, Duden threw him three sliders, all sliders. Well, I think he threw
Yeah.
him four of the ball, but yeah.
Yeah, I think another thing too is, I was looking up some stats before I jumped on with you. Condon's average went from 445 to 433. Like,
Mhm.
that's how effective State was this weekend in dealing with him. They dropped his average down 12 points.
Well, it was just it was great pitching.
Yeah. Yeah. By you know, whether it was Duden, I mean, Duden's done that all year, made really good guys look silly.
Right.
Just the way he
Struck out
pitches. Yeah.
Vance Honeycutt to end the game in
Yep.
that UNC series.
Yep. He's struck out 2 probably top 10, top 15 guys in very crucial moments this year.
Yeah, like high pressure situations
High
too, not
pressure
just in
situation. Right.
fifth inning or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And when scouts are looking at his tape from whenever he's draft eligible here in a couple of years, that's probably the two, they're going to be looking at those two at bats a lot. Like that, I feel like those two at bats are going to make Jacob Duden some money when it comes time to cash in on those checks.
Right, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Read here. Clint Chrysler deserves some love. Absolutely. I think he handled this pitching staff really well. Him and Coach Avon. It's definitely a collaborative effort when it goes time to decide when someone's done. Obviously, it resides with the head man, but there's definitely input from both. I thought Cozart did a nice job too handling his pitchers this weekend. When there was a couple of moments when things were getting a little squirrely, he would go out and talk to the pitcher, whether that was by his own design or he was told by Chrysler to go out there. I thought there was some key times where we got our guys settled down before they got rattled.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just it's like funny to say in the 11-2 game, but like we talked about earlier, like even Marone going out there and eating up those middle innings, like that was effective and really played an important part in getting to game 3 with all your best guys still available.
Yeah, that was the key. Here's the other thing I kind of want to give some kudos to, and we kind of mentioned their names earlier, but how about AMAC and Garrett Pennington? I was talking about
we barely talk about them now because it's just like they just do the thing.
Yeah, just so happy for those guys. They came to State, and this is what they came to State for, right?
Right.
You had Garrett Pennington, this is his third school. And then, poor AMAC went to ECU, and they just haven't seen Omaha for 75 years or whatever, 70 years, whatever that number is. And he comes over to State, and first year he gets the boys to Omaha, or he's part of the squad that gets to Omaha. So how cool is that, man? That's cool stuff.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, like, I know there's a lot of issues with NIL and transfer portal, but
as you're sporting your one pack shirt,
yep. It really has benefited State tremendously in pretty much every sport. Every single sport you can point to a specific transfer that has played a big role, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever.
Yeah, it really has. I was joking with Pennington after the game because, he just, played such an integral part and just wanted to, I just gave some love to all the players that I saw last night. And I stopped over to say hi to him and his family. And I said, "Hey, how about that, man? You're going to Omaha." And he goes like, "Yeah, I said, "That's why you came here, right?" He goes, "Yeah, that was our goal." I said, "No, it wasn't." I said, "Your goal was to win it." He goes, "Oh, yeah. That's my goal is to win it." And I said, "You got your first goal." I said, "You got to go get the next goal next." So let's kind of start talking a little bit about Omaha. I think we put a pretty good bow on the super regionals.
Yeah.
I think we pretty much hit everything that I kind of wanted to talk about. But Vegas isn't giving us any love, are they?
Nope. Still, I think it's either us or Florida has the longest odds still, which that's kind of surprising to me. I mean,
is it that ACC SEC bias? Like we're the 12th seed nationally. Florida, was lucky to get in, and they have better odds than we do. And I don't know. Like, are you going because they're hotter? What was that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
10th. We were the 10 seed nationally.
10. What did I say? 12? Jeez.
Yeah.
Am I even a
Yeah.
fan? Macon was here.
Macon,
Am I
yeah.
even a fan? Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Florida, like,
It's SEC, baby.
yeah. The other thing with Vegas is they're also, yes, they're trying to be accurate. They're also trying to balance it so they get the most amount of money on it.
Yeah, of
So,
course, of course. Yeah, it's
yeah.
not always the best, right? It's not what they necessarily, like, to your point, they have to balance reality or,
Mhm.
perception, like,
Right.
or this is the way we want to go.
Yeah,
But
to your point, people are look at Florida and be like, "It's an SEC team, just beat an ACC team." So even though they were barely 500 in the regular season,
how crazy did you watch
yeah,
any of that Clemson Florida game on Sunday?
I saw the end of it, like literally the last ending, but I didn't see like the whole ejection part. But yeah,
Yeah, that was some horrible umpiring. I thought they
yeah,
lost control of that game pretty early and never regained it. I thought and I don't remember their guys' name, so I apologize. I'm all in on state. I don't really I
yeah,
watch other things, but I don't like get into the numbers.
yeah,
But I thought the Clemson runner that should have been either an ejection for both or no ejections at all. Like I thought,
right.
like the one guy kind of that gave him a forearm shiver, and then the
Hmm.
second guy retaliated, and then the Clemson player retaliated back, and then that's what got him tossed. I'm like, it makes no sense. But then you had the bat flip, and then the coaches getting ejected, and you had the coach firing up the crowd, and that was just it was a show. And then you had the one center fielder makes hits the 3-run home run in the ninth to tie it, and then makes the Willie Mays Hayes catch over the
Yeah, that was crazy.
shoulder. Like, yeah, it was crazy. It was a weird game.
Especially, sorry, because
No, you're
that
good.
Clemson outfield is they don't have a warning track. They've got the hill.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, old school
mhm.
baseball. Kind of like back. I don't know if you remember when Minute Maid Park had the hill
Yeah,
in
yeah,
center field, and they got rid of that because it was annoying. But yeah. So anyway, um, so yeah, like to your point, you have a hot Florida team who barely scraped in and went to who did they go and knock out in the first round? I'm trying to remember.
it was another.
Was it an ACC team?
I don't know. I'm blanking now.
Yeah, I'm too. It's been a long day traveling. But anyway, so yeah, you have state, and they're not getting a lot of love, at least to begin with. But again, we talked about it on the super regionals, and no teams are going to be the same, but you can see the similarities from the 21 season.
Yeah,
Other than we did have the regionals at home, whereas in 21 we had to go to Louisiana Tech. But you go into a quote unquote hostile environment. By the way, I was throwing so much shade at Georgia. They're like, "Welcome to our house. Like it's gonna be a tough one for y'all." Or I'm sorry. It's gonna be a tough one for y'all. And I was like, bro, we went to Arkansas where it has
yeah,
10,000 people. You
yeah.
barely have 3. You think we're scared of your environment because you can bark? They sue hog call. Like that sounds wicked.
I don't know.
So but anyway,
Florida won. Oklahoma State. They went to
Oklahoma
Stillwater
State.
and won
That's
that
right,
regional.
Stillwater.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they ended that one. No, that one went 3 games, didn't it? That went 3.
yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
I played on a Monday. But anyway, so yeah, so there's some similarities to this team and the 21 team, but I think I don't know. I feel like this team is more balanced. I think you have more arms than the
Yeah.
21 team.
Bullpen's definitely better.
Bullpen's way better, way better. Uh, so we were joking in the parking lot on Monday. We're talking about the 21 team and this team, and like, well, who would win? And we're like, well, Sam would just beat Sam, so that cancels
Yeah,
each other. Yeah, so
each other out.
yeah, that one goes off the board. But yeah. So anyway, we play Saturday against Kentucky.
Yeah.
We're in the bracket with Kentucky and Texas A&M, and I just blank. Florida.
In Florida. Yep.
Yeah. And so it's interesting. So we talked about this. Well, we actually haven't talked about this. You have 4 ACC and 4 SECs, and it's interesting. You have 3-1 and
Mhm.
3-1. On the other side of the bracket, you have Virginia and Carolina matching up, and then you have Florida State and Tennessee, which I think is going to be a really good matchup. At least on that first game when you got Jamie Arnold going, top 10, top 15 pick. I think that's going to be an exciting one. But you have Carolina and Virginia getting it started on Friday. They're the first game at 2:00. And then you have the evening matchup, which kind of makes sense because the matchup just seems better. You have Florida State and Tennessee going. And then on Saturday, which sucks is if I'm still trying to figure out how to get there. But if I'm going, I'm going to miss all the good games on Friday. So hopefully whoever I'm flying has live TV on the plane. But we have the first game on Saturday. It's a 1:00 local game, 2:00 back here on the East Coast, because Nebraska, Omaha is in the Central Time Zone. And in the evening tilt, you have Florida and Texas A&M. So an SEC battle for that game.
Yep. I don't know much about Kentucky. Obviously, they were number 1 for a little bit of this season overall.
Number 2 overall for the national seeding. I watched the game against not Oregon. It was Oregon State.
Yeah.
The way they won that game was just atrocious. You had did you see what happened?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so the 7th inning, Kentucky had a guy on at second. Oregon State threw a wild pitch, and
I did see that. The pitcher, he didn't even bother.
Just didn't cover. Just like whatever. And the guy was, smart enough, good baseball play, and ran from second to home, and scored the winning run. It was the winning run.
Right.
So again, we talked about this, on the preview. You can't do things to beat yourself in these games because that one mistake cost Oregon State a chance at potentially advancing.
And he's coming from second. The guy's on second. Sure, he's probably isn't going to go home, but he can't take that risk when
nobody was covering third. So if he had to get back, he could get back.
Right.
And then the pitcher just never covered.
But yeah, I mean it's definitely gonna be a tough first matchup. I assume you'll see Highfill again, probably start the first game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're not deviating. I mean, Sam is the guy that sets the tone.
Yeah.
I think they're either 5-2 or excuse me, he's 5-2 all time in his postseason career, or it might be 6-2 now. Postseason career for regionals, super regionals, and College World Series. So yeah, that's the guy you want to go. And again, I haven't really, like to your point, I haven't gotten really deep into Kentucky, what they do. They can definitely pitch. They play really good defense.
I know that they have really good pitching. That's what I've gathered so far.
Yeah, they have. I think they have like a top 5, top 10 guy that's going to be up in the draft here this year. So yeah, I think you're gonna have to just play smart baseball, and I love the way State works counts. If they get a first pitch fastball, they're not afraid to swing at it, and even if they get down early in the count, they just find ways to work themselves back into the count. I can't tell you how many times I'd like to sit down and run this, or if there was a site or metrics out there that would run this, but like 2-strike hits for NC State, I would love to see that, because it felt like these guys would get down into a hole early, like Noah would get down. It felt like it really feels that way when you get down into the bottom of the lineup with Nixon and Havner and Souls. It feels like those guys are always working deep counts. It feels like they're getting 3-2 counts, 2-2 counts, but like 8 pitches, because they're fouling off a bunch of stuff. It just always feels like they're just little pests,
right?
Just nipping, and you just can't get rid of them.
That's what you need from the bottom of the lineup too, because they set the table for the top.
Yep. And I think the way this lineup is constructed, it's just a smart lineup. You have Sosa's kind of right there in the middle at 5. He kind of bridges the top and the bottom, and then then you got those bottom guys that don't feel like bottom guys, especially over the last month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, Souls was leadoff until he got hurt.
Yeah, so you basically have a leadoff in the 9 and a leadoff in the 1. And both of those guys can work pitches. And so you feel like, okay, if you start at 9, you're basically starting at the top, if you have an inning that starts at 9. And then you have, and you've had Serrano, who's been really seeing the ball really well the last couple of weeks. And so you just hope some of that stuff carries on when they get out Midwest to Omaha.
Yeah. So James said our Friday lineup has won 9 straight games.
Yeah,
it's been pretty good with Sam out there.
Yeah, and here's the other thing: if Sam gets a double-digit lead, we've won our last 13 in a row when we've had a multi-run lead in a postseason game. So that's the key. If you can get a 2-3 run lead, the state just finds a way to make that stick. Oh, what
more than one, not double digit. I was like,
sorry, sorry. Yeah. Of course, if you're by 10, they always win.
You're gonna win.
Yes, multi-run
more
lead. Yes, thank you. Sorry, it's been I said, it's been a long day.
No, that's impressive.
Yeah, so that's the key, right? And then how are we going to manage the arms? Because here's the thing, unlike a weekend series or like because this is kind of like
the regional,
right. This is like it plays like a regional, but as long as you keep winning, you play every other day. You don't play every day because there's so many teams there. You don't play every day until the end of it. You can really work your pitchers, and you can steal some innings because there's days off, which is really, and that's how the 21 team was so successful. Is even though we only had those few pitchers, you could keep riding them and trotting them out every day because as long as you stay in that winner's bracket, you're golden.
Yeah. If you can, it's just an extra day of rest. Somebody throws out of the bullpen, throws 30, 40 pitches, not normally going to pitch the next day, but your next game, you have a full another day to rest, so you can bring them back.
Yep. Yeah. And if nothing else, you're just squeezing an inning out of them at that point, right? So you have the ability to really shorten your bench, if you will, as you see fit. But so Charles Schwab Stadium, I was thinking it was still Ameritrade, but when I was looking it up earlier, it is now Charles Schwab Stadium. And plays big, which is a big benefit to our pitchers, especially Sam and Dom, who like to throw a lot of fly balls, which, that bodes well. It's a little bit of a bigger park. So we can keep some of those balls in the yard. And then go ahead.
That's always going to be a pain point, though, from that 2013 Trey Turner home run. That should have been a home run.
Yeah, should have been a home run.
I saw a clip of that going on Twitter again today. I was like, oh. He hit
the shot out of it.
I forgot he hits it and then like sticks his hand up like he knew it was gone, and then it just didn't get out.
Yeah.
Ugh, that was tough.
All right, so let's hit a few of these comments and then we'll wrap here. Let's see here. Where we want to go. Clemson's still paying for that Bambard missed field goal. Yeah, they cashed in all those chips that year. 7 coaches and 13 players was on the 21 series. Yeah, here's another we also have one from another team. Hollis Fanning was on the 21 Tennessee team that was in Omaha. So he was a young guy, freshman, but he was on that team. Our Friday lineup is 15-2 this year. I think that's what you were saying, right? Yeah, that wouldn't count because Louisville Sam didn't pitch in Louisville. And then this is the first time since 1948 in which only 2 conferences are in the CWS. That's actually a great fact. I did not know that, Michelle. Wild, right? And everyone talks about growing the game, and it's kind of hard to grow the game when you only have 2 conferences there. And I think you kind of alluded to it earlier, Michael. That's kind of what NIL does now. The rich get richer, and these group of 5 teams are kind of just like a minor league, a feeder to the bigger boys.
I feel like it's worse in baseball than other sports. I feel like in basketball and football, it kind of spreads the talent around a little more. But for whatever reason,
it feels like there's only so many teams that take baseball serious.
There's only so many teams, yeah, and you don't get full scholarships for baseball.
Right. That's changing
So
though.
you can use NIL to fund those scholarships, right? Every other football and basketball, everybody gets a scholarship. So
that's what Vandy would do. That was Vandy's kind of their secret is they didn't give them a baseball scholarship. They gave them like a grant or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's how they were able to stack their teams for so long. But again, that back to your point, that competitive advantage is kind of slowly going away. But Reynolds says, see you in Omaha. Yeah, buddy. I hope to be there, man. I know you'll be there with Steve and probably I'm sure Brent will come out there. And then James is saying the 21 team was so efficient. Yeah, they just did everything. It just felt like every time someone was up, someone got a crucial knock. They just got it done. That was a special team that should have won a championship. But all right,
so,
Michael, go ahead.
What's your Omaha plans?
Well, my Omaha plans. Well, first of all, I have to get time off. I'm burning through that leave. Yeah. I gotta see what I still got on the books, and then I might need a roommate for Omaha.
Okay.
It's pretty pricey. So when my dad and I went in 21, the first weekend was real expensive, and then after the first set of teams get knocked out, the prices drop dramatically.
Everybody goes home. Yeah.
So that Monday or Tuesday, if you're still hanging around, you can get some decent rates at hotels near the ballpark. And if you get a hotel near they have a nice setup there. They have plenty of hotels around the area. They got bars, restaurants, and they built a nice little district for the College World Series. But yeah. So I'm trying to figure it out still. It's just like, everything. We kind of talked about it. Losing Sunday was like the worst thing that could happen. I had to get an extra 2 nights of hotels and more food, and then the rental car. I'm like, ugh. So kind of eating that budget, but we'll see. I'll probably find my way out there if I had to. If I had to figure it out. So
I was looking. I don't think I this weekend, it's just too short notice with flights and stuff.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. The flights were kind of crazy. I did find a flight for like $350 out there, and that's the other thing. Like you got to buy one-way tickets if you're planning on hanging out. And that's,
so I booked for the next weekend. I've got it all fully refundable, of course, but I've got it booked for. So if we make the finals.
Yeah, the big one is just get that first win, stay out of the losers bracket. James, if you want to go start a GoFundMe, man, you set it up. I'll promote it. But yeah, you got to stay in that winners bracket. Keep those arms fresh. Even though we are deep with the arms, you don't want to play with fire. Michelle, you're right. Michelle, Omaha Airport is not very big. The last story I'll tell real quick. This is kind of a funny story from my 21 trip. So many stories from that trip, but the best one was, my dad lives in. My dad and I were going out, which was great because it was Father's Day weekend, which is great. You and your old man going to a ball game, and I guess real quick too. I abandoned my bride. We'd only gotten back from our honeymoon like a week or two before that, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to Omaha. So we were watching the Arkansas game, and when they hit the home run, and she's like, I guess you're going to Omaha now. I'm like, yep. But anyway, so I get there a couple of hours early before my dad, and so I got the rental car, went and dropped all my stuff off at the hotel, came back out to get him at the airport, and I'm standing, or it's called standing in the no standing area with your car. And I got like state flags on the car, magnets, and I got it all decked out. And cop comes up, knocks on he's like, roll it down. I'm like, okay. And he goes, hey, you them boys from North Carolina? I'm like, yeah, that's us. He goes, good, go give them hell. And I was like, okay, sir. Sure. He goes, stay here as long as you need. And the reason for that was we were in Nebraska, and Arkansas had knocked off Nebraska. So all the Nebraska fans had become state fans. And so the cop that was my first experience with Nebraska. And he was like, just stay here as long as you need. And if anyone gives you crap, just tell them I said it was okay. I'm like, all right, sir. Thanks. I was like, go back. Yeah. So, but anyway, All right, so I think we'll wrap on that story. Any closing thoughts you got, Michael? Again, we're gonna do an in-depth review of Omaha. I think we got a really good guest coming for that. I just got to lock him in, but I think
Yeah.
folks will definitely enjoy who we have potentially coming on. But what you got, Michael?
Oh, I just want to. We didn't talk about it much, but Avent just that coaching job overall this season. You know, second time to Omaha in 4 years. Yeah, it's at a point where after that 2018 regional, we got COVID, and then you didn't know where you didn't know where the program was headed, especially with Avent getting up there.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, okay, we're just keep rolling. So
yeah, absolutely. Actually, all right. So I lied. I got two things. Russ wants to know. Tell us about the hat, Greg. That thing has been on TV so much. Does it have a winning record?
Yeah. Do you keep track?
Yeah, I don't. I could definitely go back. So here's the secret. I actually have two of them. This one I'm wearing is starting to show a little wear and tear, but that's all right. That just adds character to it. But I bought them about, I want to say like actually I know when I bought it. I bought it in 2015. When they still made them. It was from a company called Foam Heads, and I wore it to Pittsburgh on that run in the Sweet 16 run. And those hats, sometimes my dad will wear one, sometimes my son will wear the other one. They only come out in postseason play. So for a bowl game, college, regional, super regionals, World Series, they've been to the Final Four. They've been to the women's Elite Eight. They only go to postseason.
So for postseason, you can probably figure it out.
I think it's definitely has a winning record. I couldn't tell you the record. But they go to baseball, so I feel like
baseball, you get an advantage there because of all the wins.
So that's the story behind that hat. I only wear it during postseason. So just kind of my shtick. And it does get on TV, with the beard and the hat. It all kind of just plays. Of course I have the sunglasses and the stupid chain. Like it's just a shtick. It's just my way of getting fans going and getting them hyped up and excited. And it's definitely played well. But I do want to share this last story and then we'll get off here. So last night, my buddy Hayes, a lot of people know Hayes Lancaster. He's pretty familiar. His son Burke had a picture with the regional trophy, and if you follow me on Twitter or X, you'll see that I had a picture of me and the trophy. And so I was like, hey, like, where's the trophy? Like, I gotta go get a picture with the trophy. And Burke says, like, oh, it's like it's yeah, of course, right. It's in the conference room where the boys ate breakfast. So I was like, okay, I'll try to go find it because I didn't stay at the same hotel he did. And then I went by the room and I saw it and I was like, oh, there it is, the Holy Grail. And then I saw Coach Avent talking with some support staff, and I didn't want to be rude and not and interrupt him. And so he pretty much was finished talking, and I'm like, hey, Coach, like I just want to say congrats, like freaking happy for you and the boys. Done a hell of a job coaching this year. And I was like, he's like, come on in. I was like, okay, cool. And then He's and I start talking, and he just, thanked me for being a fan and, getting loud and being in this. Like, if you listen to the game, you could hear all the Wolfpack chants and the claps. That was me and another guy. Like we were keeping high energy. And so he definitely recognized that. And so I was like, cool, I appreciate you, Coach. And he was like, hey, like we got tons of Chick-fil-A. You need some Chick-fil-A? Like, you good? I'm like, no, I'm good, Coach. I'm good. I said, but I'd love to get a picture with you. What's that? Yeah.
Just another thing.
One little thing. I don't need Chick-fil-A. You can keep the Chick-fil-A. But I was like, I gotta just get a picture. Like, that's cool. I want to get a picture for the channel for the pod. And he's like, sure, yeah, we'll get a picture together. And then I was like, well, all right. So since I got this picture, can I go take a picture of the trophy? That's all I wanted to do was take a picture of the trophy. He's like, no. I'm like, okay, no, you go hold the trophy. I was like, no, like I can't hold the trophy, Coach. I can't. I didn't earn that. But and so I went over and kind of put my hand around it, and Coach Chrysler took a quick picture for me. And so I want to shout out them and just being funny. Really cool. And yeah, no, he's like, go hold the trophy. I'm like, no, I can't, Coach. But it was a fun night last night. And the kind of where I was going. If anyone can go out to these trips, it's just when we win, it's a blast. I mean, just seeing the kids in their natural element, just having a good time. And I look forward to trying to make the trip out, and anyone that can make the trip out, go do it. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. But anyway, all right, we'll wrap on that. Again, we're going to have plenty of previews coming out this week. Again, state does get going on Saturday. And so we may or may not do a watch party, but if we do, we'll definitely put it out there. But hey, it's that time. All right. We're in Omaha. We're going to try to win this thing. As the thing I told Coach, I said, hey, the 2021 Redemption Tour continues. And he just kind of had a good chuckle with that. But yeah, just go cheer on the boys. Try to give them a natty that well-deserved. And pay close attention. We'll be dropping all kinds of stuff leading up to it. And if we're out there, we'll have all kinds of content like we did before. But as always, make sure you're following us on all of, Twitter, TikTok, here on YouTube. Subscribe, do all that stuff. We recently hit 20,000. I don't think we've officially thanked anybody for that. So thank you for doing that for us. And as always, Wolfpack Nation, go Pack.